Rando Tournament, where we work with mentors and mentees on helping everyone start to boost their knowledge on Map Rando and get to racing. I'm here with DarthJosh, who's going to be our mentee today, and I will be the mentor, and we're going to be walking through a medium difficulty normal seed for you all. And Josh is going to be playing, and I will be answering any questions, providing advice, etc. So, Josh, how you feeling?
I'm doing all right. Ready to get this going.
All right. Well, whenever you are ready to start, I think we can get going.
Alrighty, let me just double check. We're good. All right, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, get this going. Ooh.
Spicy start.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally these missiles are not in logic because this crumble jump is non-medium difficulty, but if we can, we will grab them anyways.
We got him.
So normally, if you've seen any of the Map Rando races that have been going on, these are normally on hard tricky settings for the mentor-mentee tournament. We're running on medium normal as more of a better introduction into the Map Rando scene. With it being medium difficulty, there's going to be less stuff that's in logic. Oh.
We're good. I just had to fix one. Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay. There's going to be less stuff that is going to be required in logic, and normal makes it so that we'll be seeing more of the key items sooner within the seed in order to progress.
Oh jeez.
And as you're playing, Josh, try and talk about what you're thinking about as you're playing through here, like what you're going to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, we'll do.
The rooms that you're seeing and what you think you can and can't do there, stuff like that.
All right, there. Was happy to find the morph ball, which allows me to get back here into bombs, which allows me to get this third item back there, which is gravity suit, which will allow me to traverse the water rooms that I just saw down there.
Really nice starter package.
I am first going to take a save, because we never know what can happen. And then we'll head up to Aqueduct. See if I can peek what this item up here is. Just an E-tank.
Yep, on medium difficulty, there isn't any other way to grab those items without speed. But there are ways to get it if we were looking to break the logic and not have to come back later.
I really like seeing Big Pink because it gives me 3 items I can get right off the bat and a few doors I can check after. It looks like the map's right here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I see the double major to the left there. Couple X's, Norfair, Torian, Criteria, and Wreck Ship. Awesome.
Okay. So when I see this, I see... Yeah, I'm seeing those 2 majors in what is Morph Ball Room, but one of them is not accessible yet until we get power bombs. Looks like the 2 X's that are available to check, I would probably prioritize those to see if we can get power bombs, and then that can make it more efficient to go to Morph Ball Room and pick up the 2 majors. Another thing to note is that while the first missiles we got were technically out of logic, now we've definitely gotten in logic missiles, so I wouldn't feel too bad about going through any missile doors to look for our next progression. Everything should be within the logic of a medium seed now. Was this seed vetted or brand new? This is brand new. We have not vetted it. Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know.
Found us some power bombs.
Alright, so yeah, now we can do Morph Ball Room and get both of the items. Couldn't even get to Morph Ball Room anyways without power bombs, I just realized that. Oh, that was the top door.
I thought it was as well. Nice.
Okay. Double suit. Should make for smooth sailing here.
Screw as well.
So I think we still want to prioritize X's to see if we can pick up our supers, and then we don't have to worry about doors in general. Didn't look like there were any other nearby majors, at least.
I don't think so. Hey, I'm just gonna take a save here just for precautionary measures.
Save early, save often.
Yep.
A wise WX once said. So yeah, while Josh is working on this, after we're done with the seed, then we're going to go into like a Q&A session. If anybody has any questions, I'll have the practice hack open and be able to demonstrate anything that we have questions on. Could be from the seed, could just be about Map Rando in general.
Nice.
Alright, all our ammo's taken care of, so doors are now not as much of an obstacle as long as we have the ammo. So now what are we thinking, Josh?
I'm thinking I'm gonna head up here and check out Wreck Ship while I'm right here.
Makes sense to me.
Alright. Scan for the map real quick. I know it's north and a little to the right. Hoping that guy doesn't get in my way too often. Let's see. I want to check the item that's always there first, and then we'll see where we go.
Yep. In Map Rando, even if Wreck Ship isn't turned on with Phantoon being defeated, we have it set that all the items spawn in Wreck Ship, so it doesn't matter as much whether Phantoon is dead or not for these.
So Josh, chat is asking about your experience level with Super Metroid. Maybe a little bit of an intro to yourself and your experience playing randomizers.
Absolutely. So I started playing Super Metroid casually about a year ago, and then I found out about the randomizer and just really loved it. Ooh, here we go. Nice. Good find. Double super. Love it. And then I started out, I did a couple basics on my own, and then I joined the Discord and I found all the races that were going on. And it was a hard learning curve for sure, going from basic to hard. But I've made it work decently well. and I've done the Link to the Past randomizer and the DK64 one as well.
Okay, so just to interrupt there, and then I can do a little intro on myself as well. Going through this gate and seeing the speed booster hallway there, this actually makes it so that for like a medium seed, we'd probably have to reset because gate glitches aren't technically in logic. But we can give it a go here on the gate glitch, see if we can get out here. So the way this gate glitch works is that you need to be a couple pixels away from the gate and then move forward, and right before you touch the gate, you angle shoot up a super missile to pass through the gate.
There we go.
Nice. Okay, and then for me, hi, I'm Nito. I've been playing Map Rando for at least a couple years now. Just kind of worked my way up through the difficulties before races were really even a thing. If I'm not doing any races, you're going to find me doing some of the most difficult seeds out there. The difficulty settings for Map Rando, they start with basic. We're playing medium now. There's hard above that. There's very hard, expert, expert plus, extreme, extreme plus, insane, insane plus. You'll find me playing a lot of insane plus that a lot of my chat loves to send to me to play. So we're doing a lot of difficult tricks in some of those Map Randos. But I do a lot of the hard tricky races as well. I was 5th in the last tournament that just ended, overall out of 64, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Alright, so seeing that transition, I decided to stay in C and believe I need something like high jump or space jump to get to that map. So that's what I want to try to find.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Oh.
Yeah, for going down that left side there, I like to count the number of platforms I go by and aim for the middle one.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard getting in that door on the while you're falling down there.
Makes sense. I do like finding plasma.
Plasma is most people's favorite beam. Highest damage output for your beam. The base plasma is 150 damage. And with other beams, it scales even higher than that. However, we do need charge to make it effective on bosses.
Yep.
Do we know approximately where the map was located?
I think it was north. Yeah, it's very top of Red Tower. Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Alright, so I have a logic question that chat hasn't asked, but is the bombs in logic for Red Tower?
It is
Ooh.
not.
Good.
So there are IBJs in medium, but it's only an IBJ that is about as tall as you can high jump. So the Red Tower one would fall under Ken Long IBJ, and that would be in hard difficulty.
Ah, dang. Okay.
So yeah, when we're in a situation like this where we can't get access to the map, we kind of have to strategically blind the majority of the region or find another entrance to another region. But since we're in Criteria and we already know where the wrecked ship entrance is, that pretty likely means that there aren't any other region connections, although I do see Bryn's over there.
You
That's
see
interesting.
Bryn, yeah.
We are playing with depth settings for the area assignment, so that means that it, and again, if you've seen any other Map Rando races in the past, we've played with size area assignment, which makes it so that the region with the most map tiles in it, it would be Norfair, the next most would be Brinstar, then Meridia, and it goes all the way down to the smallest speed wrecked ship. Ooh, Croc. But now we're playing with depth, so it looks at all the regions in the world map, and it looks for the one that is the tallest, or not the tallest, the one that's highest up on the map with the highest map tile. That'll be Criteria. The next one below that with the highest map tile is Wrecked Ship, then Turian, then Brinstar, then Meridia, then Norfair is the lowest one. So I'm not actually sure on the ammo requirement on medium for Croc. I want to say that 2015 is enough, but we also entered this fight with not full ammo, so that could make it kind of tough here.
Especially if he keeps dropping health.
Could be in a little bit of trouble here.
I'm just gonna go and turn my plasma beam off just to deal with flag. That's better. That's what I'm talking about.
He's saying that he believes medium would be about 50 missiles.
I didn't know it was that high.
I think a combination of supers probably offsets that as well. So this fight could be logical, I think. 15 missiles would be the same, or 15 supers would be the same as 45 regular missiles, so...
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes when we're in races and we're wondering if Croc is going to be like important or anything, we're usually seeing if charge has been available prior to that. And if we have charge and we see Croc, then we get a huge hint that Croc might be either hiding an item or just be in the way of progression.
There we go. Oh, come on.
Getting close.
He really likes to just sit here.
Farms.
Yeah, he really wants to farm here. Oh my gosh. Come on. That should do it.
Almost.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, track can be a little stressful sometimes and uncooperative.
Anyway, my thought behind this is to the left of here is an entrance to Torian. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Do we know what item is there? Is it like
it
just a missile?
was missiles, yeah.
Okay. So, for these Map Rando seeds, we always play with the bosses are required before killing Mother Brain. Don't think we've seen any yet.
I don't think so, no.
So, Mother Brain's entrance will actually be blockaded by 4 walls, and one of those walls represents each objective. And we need to remove all 4 of those walls before we can get to Mother Brain.
There we go.
In Map Rando, we play with settings that increases the drop rate of certain enemies to give more supers and or power bombs. Those Kagos that were in the previous room, the little bugs that come out there, they've had their super drop rate increased. Other examples would be like some of the infinitely spawning enemies from the little Mario tubes. Those have power bomb drops increased most of the time.
I'm gonna go take this save. I haven't saved in a little while. Let's go try the other door.
Fine. Finding all the mini bosses.
Yep.
Core spawn, I believe, is in logic and basic with just missiles.
I believe so. There we go.
Uh, 8-Ball asking if the 4% PB drop rate is an increase. If an enemy, so I think like a Zeb in Big Pink, I think it has like it's either a 2 or a 4% base drop rate. So yeah, at that point it would be 4 or 8. I can't remember what the base drop rate was, but yeah, that is doubled.
Alright, let's see what this has in store.
Map.
That's Kraid with a major.
Forced spore spawn.
Forced spore spawn. Guess we'll head back to spore spawn.
Yeah. There was also another tank there in Cathedral. I think it'd be a good idea to pick that up.
Yeah.
Since we have Variasuit, we have a we need a minimum of 3 tanks, so that'll give us the minimum. It'll probably be helpful to pick up more along the way as well.
I agree.
And it looked like there was a major at the bottom of Spore Spawn Shaft, so after Crane we can pick that up.
Yep. My top 3 wants right now are charge and high jump or space jump. Is Spore Spawn one
Yeah.
that can get hit with the X-ray stuff?
He can, yes, but it's pretty difficult to do that shot and then get back on the ground to microwave.
That's a good point.
If you had charge, your beam would be enough to kill him in one shot anyways.
That's true.
So Spore Spawn is unique in that he takes double damage from charge shots. So if you had charge, your shot would deal 750 with charge and 1500 to Spore Spawn.
Gotcha.
And he only has 1000 HP, so I would just outright kill him.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
So I think that's been 3 supers, so just one more missile should be
Yep.
it.
Ah, jeez. I'm actually just going to take a refill for ammo. I'm right here.
Guys into saying we should have X-ray climbed Spore Spawn Shaft to get to it, and then we wouldn't have to fight Spore Spawn.
Oh, jeez.
That is a trick that I often have to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about Kraid is that you can actually only have 2 missiles hit him per mouth open. You'll just straight up ignore any other missiles that you shoot. And the reward is...
Ice beam. I'm okay with that.
Yep, ice also works for Red Tower to get to that map.
That's a good point.
Okay, so 1 objective down.
Okay. It is C I want to get to.
So back through
Yep.
Croc's lair.
Right? I can actually go this way now.
Yeah. as we make our way back there, we started in Bryn, we've seen Wrecked Ship, Criteria, and Torian now. Criteria we're still looking to get the map for, so that leaves Meridia and Norfair for the remaining 3 bosses, including anyone that might be in Criteria, which it looks like Criteria is a pretty large map here. We get a hint by the revealed saves on the map as to how big it actually is.
I forgot I can't go that way.
Yep, that's a one-way. So there are some doors that have been marked with hazard tape. Those represent doors where there's a chance for you to fall into a one-way that you can't get out of, or if there's immediate danger on the other side, like that room. So that was the bottom of Mickey Mouse. There's a multi-viola there that, if you're not prepared for it, can just hit you right away. Ooh, okay, so I don't think we have a logical way up this room, but we could IBJ it if you wanted to.
My IBJs are not that good.
Okay, then I say that we actually need to loop through Wrecked Ship to come back up through Everest to get back to that map. There's a reason it's called worst room in the game.
Every time.
Yeah, so to try and get past these, you want to hold jumping down for as long as possible.
There we go.
There you go. Like,
there we go.
I'll give you a helping hand there.
Yep.
Yeah, like the most important thing for doing that jump and aim down thing is you want to get the aim down in before you bonk the ceiling so that you get more time to pass through the
Gotcha. Oh.
Oops. And that is what we needed ice for, to make it up to that ledge there. So in normal and tricky seeds, the beams are considered filler items, meaning that technically they're not needed for most sources of progression. Getting to a map is not considered progression in Map Rando.
Well, that's what all the
Is
left
it?
side was for. Jeez.
The major's in Narnia.
It's the only thing other in here. Only issue I see is another gate clip, but I have waves, so it's not even a clip.
Yeah, so Wave does put that major in logic. In an actual race, we're probably really thinking about whether we want to go for that major or not.
Yeah.
Considering how far away it is, but I think for this more sort of tutorial format, it's completely fine to just say, let's get everything that we can see. Who knows, could be charge as well. That would be really nice for boss fights. East Cack Alley is a room that is notorious for hard requiring gravity to get through. Nice wall jumping.
Appreciate it.
Kind of same with East Ocean, although there are more options available to make it through. Like high jump spring ball.
And then, yeah, that's an E-tank up here as well, I'll probably grab.
Yep. This height would actually be a good example of an IBJ that would probably be in logic.
Probably, yeah. I can do that, though. I think. There we go.
Honestly, with a good question, what do you consider go mode for you?
My Ridley is personally very rough, so I usually go for 5 or 6 tanks. And then... Whoops. I don't know, it just kind of depends on what's been happening, but... I do.
Yeah, I think
like to have.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I usually like to have a good beam combo as well. So besides charge, I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah. I think Ridley is kind of the main obstacle for most people when it comes to actually hitting go mode. He's definitely the most difficult boss in all of Super Metroid for sure. I would say that the more practiced a person's Ridley fight is, the less you can consider yourself for go mode for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
At least when it comes to like energy and ammo and beam combo and all that. You still need the movement stuff to traverse the world, but yeah, Ridley is often that main obstacle.
So I didn't check for is if there's any other zones I can get to here, but it doesn't seem that way.
Luna asks if Spazer has been found yet. No, we have not found the legendary Spazer beam.
Let's see. I do wanna swing around and grab this E-tank on the way out.
Yep. Sounds like a solid plan. I didn't see any other bosses in Criteria, so it looks like everything else remaining is Meridia and Norfair.
Just gotta find a way to them.
Well, with depth area assignment, we kind of get a hint as to where they would be relatively. Aussie saying that Croc logic on medium is actually either 50 missiles or 16 supers, and you don't mix the two.
Interesting.
So you did that out of logic, and therefore you will be punished. So with the depth area assignment, we know relatively where those regions will be, and I think we have all the maps of the regions we've seen, so we should be able to see an entrance anyways. But if we didn't, oh, we don't have wreck ship.
Don't have brick ship, yeah.
Um,
Oh, well, I'm right here.
yeah, I forgot we didn't get this map, and we just immediately went to criteria. So actually, there could be a boss here as well. But yeah, if we were committed to finding Meridian Norfair, we would be looking at regions that are generally below, like Brinstar or Torian, for direct connections there.
Ooh, nice.
Everybody loves Speed Booster.
A little too far back for my liking, so we're gonna head back and do the top door. Assuming I can get up there.
I don't think you have a logical way up there right now.
I think you're right.
On medium, this would be... So, actually, what you could do is run through the Speed Booster hallway and get a Shine Charge just before the door.
Yeah, I could.
Use that to spark up.
We'll see what the logic wants.
Either that or space jump would probably be the hard requirements for the screw attacker. Yeah, I think that might be what it wants to get up there. Screw attack works for those blocks.
Oh, true. Thank you. Okay. Now we're talking.
Alert.
Looks like this might actually be the logical way to the map.
Could be.
High chances of Fantoon, though.
Yeah, Fantoon is notorious for being connected to West Ocean. It's actually a crazy number of maps that have him here as a connection.
Especially because it's the left side one. Oh, really?
No Fantoon.
Okay, that's
Actually,
Mother
kinda surprising,
Brain.
but we do have Mother Brain here.
Through a C connection for that major. Oh, and the ship's right there too with Dragon. Wow. And another major off to the right. Okay. So it's top right. That for that. Okay. And then a Meridia connection. Awesome. Alright.
Fernap asks, suppose you're comfortable IBJing up Screw Attack Room, but you know it's non-logic. Is it worth doing anyway? The answer for that, and it usually ends up being the answer for most things in Map Rando on whether you should do or do something, is it depends. In this case, we couldn't see what was after Screw Attack Room, so it really leaves it up in the air on whether that would have been something that was worth doing. If we had the map beforehand, I think one could argue that if there was a reward on the other side, it would be worth doing. It did look like it was, in general, the direction towards the map, but turns out it would have just been a dead-end double refill room. So, it's a tough call either way. For things like that, personally, I tend to try and think about what is logically relevant for the scene that I'm playing. It's possible that you could spike some sort of reward from it, but it truly is a toss-up if you don't have map knowledge and you know you're doing something out of logic. Okay, so what Josh was doing in this crab room was something called a gravity jump. It's where you pause, and then right before the pause fade out finishes, you press jump, and you turn off gravity suit, and that gives you a much higher jump because it's taking your technically out of water momentum and applying it to in water, which makes it like last a lot longer. So you can use that to do really tall jumps in water rooms.
I use it pretty often, especially when I come across the moat.
Moat is very handy for, it's handy in Everest as well, trying to get up on the right side. Okay, so Dragon.
Do I have to have charge to do the microwave thing?
You sure do, yeah.
Okay.
So you do have a grapple kill available if you know a setup for that. Otherwise, we can just hit him with a bunch of ammo.
I missed it. It's alright. I can still snack the top one, yep.
Yeah. So when you go for this top left one, I think you're expected to take about 5 hits before you can get tall enough to latch onto it.
Oh. If I miss it...
So, yeah, once you get all the way to the top, Dragon slaps you for like a minimum 5 times and then lets you go. If you want to escape from that early, you can use the D-pad to mash out of there.
We're just gonna try that again. It's a good thing I took the save. Oh, come on.
It's actually funny how many different ways there are to kill Dragon in a fast manner in this game. Grapple, microwave, speed booster. Okay, so once you get high enough, you want to be shooting the grapple as Dragon is like going to the left.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
nice.
That's actually my preferred way of Dragon, is either that or microwave.
Yeah. With both suits, that grapple kill requires 60 HP for Samus. With one suit, 120, and with no suits, 240. When Dragon's at full health.
Okay. This is gonna be, yep. Nice.
High jump definitely nice to have, helps with movement a lot.
Alright. Definitely comfortable ammo-wise now.
Yeah, 30 supers is the minimum you would want for Ridley and Mother Brain. The 30 supers does equal the 18,000 damage for both of those bosses. How much does a spark do to Dre? I believe that each frame that you're hitting Dre with a spark is 150. It's either 150 or 200 damage. And I think usually you can get about 8 to 10 hits on a good spark. I want to say it's 150 damage.
Okay, so...
A few more tanks around this area, but if you're comfortable where you're at, you could probably just go Meridia right away.
Yeah. Actually, I want to swing around to see if that major happens to be charged that's chilling right there.
That is a really rude major
It is a
location.
rude one, yeah.
I've heard some people say that they actually find grappling through Everest easier when you don't have gravity on.
It depends on the day for me.
Yeah. So actually from that ledge you were just on, you could do a speedy jump to get to the top right door from there.
Good to know. Oh, jeez.
Since you have high jump and speed booster.
Yeah, speaking of. Oh, I forgot about the spark. Yeah.
Yeah, spark is also a thing. kind of a thing when you get so many items, is that you have so many options and it's hard to remember what's the best option for each area. Okay.
Forgot I had screw.
Yeah. Plasma is nice for being able to like hitbox through them, but yeah, screw will just one hit kill them. Space jump.
Fine with me. Okay, now I gotta remember. Yep. Right? Yeah. All right.
All right, Meridia.
Let's see what we got. Interesting.
So still 2 bosses left, 2 zones.
Oh, jeez.
Got him. So yeah, Spazer, you cannot have both Spazer and Plasma equipped, so whichever one you pick up second will override the first, and you have to do the pause of shame and
Okay,
switch it
that's
back
fine.
over if you got Spazer second. Alright. Yeah, usually shouldn't need any more power bombs, that's okay.
Yep.
Generally, you want to take out the top 3 rows of those blocks up there and center yourself in it, then destroy the last row so that you can drop down.
So I wanted to quickly come in and help clarify. So I know we've had questions about like, well, why isn't the mentor saying this, that, and the other thing? It's really up to the mentor and the mentee to kind of figure out their vibe to each other. If the mentor just wants the mentee to ask questions or to literally be handheld, that's probably something that gets decided beforehand. So I am out of that conversation. They can decide what they want to do.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is actually Josh and I's first time even like really talking to each other.
Yep.
So
This is fantastic. Really? Oh my gosh. Wow.
but I've been getting there's nothing here, so it looks like everything else is in Norfair.
Yep.
So this is a good revert out to double back to a Norfair entrance. So yeah, just kind of been getting a vibe on, you know, Josh's skill level, and it seems pretty decent to me. Like, hasn't needed a whole lot of hand holding. I've just been trying to add in commentary here and there.
I appreciate it. So
Norfair all the way back in Bryn.
Is that where it was? Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, bottom of Bubble Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure our mentees can certainly speak up for themselves and say, I want to be handheld.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually threw a reminder out for this on the Mentor Discord that if any mentee has any question at any time, feel free to ping. Like, don't feel like it's annoying or anything, because that's literally what the mentors in the Discord are there for, to just be able to answer any questions that come up. We do have space jump for that room.
Oh, true.
Then it should be down from here to get back to Bryn.
Yep. Let's see. Okay.
Norfair is our last zone. Should have everything else we need. Ridley, Fantoon, Mother Rain and Wreck Ship. Are you feeling good about Ridley with 35 supers?
Yeah, I should be good there. I just wanted to grab that for safety.
Okay.
Since it was on the way.
Yeah, this is kind of looking like... I mean, there's still time to find it, but we might not be finding charge this seed.
Yeah. Guess we'll see. Down, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Of course.
Oh boy. That is a forced map to get, since we know we need to go to Fantoon. In Map Rando, the map that is normally the wreck ship map is always connected to the same room that Fantoon is connected to, so we know we have to go all the way over there.
Maybe we'll find Ridley on the way, who knows?
That's possible.
Ooh. It's a good thing I found space.
Yep. Space and screw are a very good combo together.
Just like bread and butter. Oh, there it is. Nice.
Ah. Wonderful.
Oh, geez. Hello.
When it rains, it pours.
Mm-hmm. That's every major.
Yeah, that is every major.
I thought for a second that I just ran into Ridley. Kind of scared me. Oh well, we're good.
If this is the way to Fantoon, then we probably have to come back through there. That's kind of the problem with these really far away maps, is that it literally can be any direction. I'm not getting a good feeling from Wasteland here.
I'm not either, but we're already here, so.
I think, we can see if this loops back to Greenburn main shaft, but it seems like we have to go back there. Now that's looking unlikely as well. Okay. When was our last save?
I think all the way back in Bryn.
Right.
Yeah. I think it'll just be faster to walk all the way back.
I would agree with that, because you also have to deal with Baby on the way back. So yeah, I would revert, pick up Charge and Spring again, and then it looks like you have to go down.
Oh, it was right here. Okay. I was worried that it was farther back.
No, it's not too bad. Ideally, we probably would have wanted to pick up that save in Greenburn main.
Yeah.
But it's technically only like 3 rooms away from the other save, so... Okay, so let's pick these up and then take the save here in main shaft, because we still got a lot of possibilities that it could be.
Alright, I'm thinking down first. Unless... Yeah.
Probably the bottom right door. I was thinking the other door through.
Is there one over there? Good point, good point. I forgot about that one.
It's more likely that, like, it could loop back around to that other door, but it's more likely that we'll just find a more direct path this way. I have not seen that room done that way in a long time. Normally a lot of people will get on the left side of that bottom snail and shoot, and that'll anger the snail to just go through the bottom of the sand there.
Yeah.
And then you just follow along. But the way you did does work.
This is looking much more promising.
Is kicking the snail around faster than shooting it and letting it dig? I think it is faster to shoot it and let it dig. and then you don't run into any problems where the snail gets in a position where you can't kick it anymore.
I'll go to farm. Was hoping I'd run into one on the way. Oh, jeez.
So if you screw attack, the Metroid just can't deal any damage to you.
Good to know.
Yeah. Normally the only way to get the Metroid off of you is with a bomb. Or you could power bomb 3 times and that would also kill it.
Alright, I can microwave now, that's for sure.
You sure can. So, Phantoon, kind of a complicated boss with a lot of its different patterns, RNG, etc. But with the equipment that we have at this point, we can just nuke him in one round with a microwave.
Not quite.
Kind of barely clipped him on that one.
It's alright.
So in other scenarios, you might see shooting missiles as soon as Phantoon becomes vulnerable here. And then you can switch to the microwave after Phantoon starts flying around. It can be a little tricky to get the microwave started at that point. So actually, I don't think you can get the microwave here. You need Phantoon to be fully vulnerable.
Gotcha.
But a third charge shot will just kill him at this point, so that's fine.
Just like that.
Yeah, so you do need to actually hit him with missiles first to get him to fly around, and then a microwave will work.
Okay. Good to know.
I'd actually never tried that before, just trying to do it from after the movement phase. Alright, where's Riddler's at?
On the complete other side.
Of course.
Oh boy.
It can never be easy, can it?
No.
So while you're making your way there, do you have any questions on like this seed specifically, what you could have done differently, or things that you noticed or anything like that?
I don't know, I haven't noticed too much. Really, if I'm being honest, but if you want to point out anything, feel free.
Yeah, I think it's just been mostly a few like routing decisions that could have sped things up, but overall I think I think it was appropriate to play for most of the majors that you've gone for so far and all that. So So how does this tournament work? Is another mentor / mentee racing the same seed right now, or racing? So for the purposes of this is mainly just a presentation right now of what a mentor and a mentee working together would look like, and what they're talking about. When we get to the actual tournament, then there will be 2 mentees facing off with a mentor paired to each, and they'll be playing the same seed together.
Yeah, so the way it works is that the mentees are given a seed and then separated into different channels with their mentors and helping them in each of their channels. The mentors don't have the seed. They can only look at the logic page to help the mentees through the seed that they're currently playing. They can't go stream sniping, they can't do any of that nonsense, and the mentee obviously can't go stream sniping either. So it's really the mentee versus the mentee racing, and the mentors are being asked questions or guidance or hand-holding, anything that basically that is comfortable between the two of them, the mentee and the mentor, as far as getting through the seed as fast as possible. That's pretty much how that works.
Okay, we are coming up on Ridley here. Ridley is absolutely the most complicated boss in this game, with his patterns and AI. So I'm gonna watch here how you handle it, and then probably throw some advice your way afterwards.
Okay.
Yep, that literally goes to show how troublesome Ridley can be, especially for newer players. It definitely, I would say it probably didn't seem like you were aware of some of the set plays and maneuvers that you would normally be doing against that boss.
Yeah.
Kind of just felt like you were winging it there. Would that be pretty accurate?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there are quite a few patterns to be on the lookout for, and pretty much all of them are reactable and have a set way of how to handle that. So I would definitely recommend looking into Ridley strats when you get a chance, and it's something that I can cover, especially in the Q&A session if you'd like, some things to look out for with Ridley.
Yeah, it's been on the top of my list to practice before the tournament. So.
And I, by am no means like a master of the Ridley fight, but I know what the essentials are.
Fair enough.
To at least get through that fight with, like, a decent amount of like health and getting that damage in and all that. All right, so back to wreck ship. I don't recall if there are any like refill stations along the way, so we could stop by the ship for the full refill before
There
going
is
towards Mother Brain.
one. Since I have space jump now.
Oh, right, at the top of Screw Attack Room. We were talking about that earlier.
Yep.
Now, one other thing I would want to look for before starting the Mother Brain fight is a save.
Yeah.
Just in case. There's one there at the bottom of the Meridia tube. Not even randomized.
What is this? Vanilla game?
So, are you planning to Zeb skip into Mother Brain, or do you...
Was the plan,
use
yep.
ammo? Okay.
I just gotta turn my screw attack off. There we go.
All right. It is possible to retake a hit from the frozen, or not the frozen Rinka, but the Zeb gates, and then do another spin jump so that you don't have to leave the room to reset it up. But that does work as well. Okay, just 30 supers away.
Yep.
Ooh, yeah, what's the escape timer gonna be? Chip is relatively close.
Whew. I'm gonna say minute 20.
Oh yeah, this is misleading. I'm gonna say like minute 50.
Oh, really? Wow.
205. Yeah, so we actually have to loop back through criteria.
Oh, that's right. I
this.
forgot about that. Is it other way? No. Okay.
For how close Mother Brain was relatively to the ship, this is an extremely long escape.
Mm-hmm.
All right, GG's.
Whew. I think that's definitely my fastest time, like, ever. So I'll take it.
Nice. I would say that was pretty well done. Obviously, there's always areas to improve, but it looked like you had a solid route going, and you know, you had to hit every region. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just happens that way sometimes with boss placement and all that. So I think you did a good job.
Appreciate it.
GG's DarthJosh, you're going to do well in the tournament. Let's see. I'm going to spoil where you are currently on the seed sorted scores.
Go for it.
So you are somewhere. Where are you? There you are. So that's number 28 out of 45. So you're seed number 28.
Yep.
So that gives chat a good idea of like where the skill level is as far as all the competitors. Granted, there are a couple of competitors in here that have bowed out, so not all 48 of them are going to be participating. But yeah, that's where we're still waiting for a few people to finish up their qualifiers that had submitted or showed interest before the cutoff. Entrance to the tournament has already been cut off, so you can't enter now. You'll have to wait till next time. I'm hoping next time we're going to be doing harder settings like hard tricky for the people that want to learn more into hard tricky and get into the next regular season of Map Rando Tournament, which I believe is also going to be hard tricky. That will probably take place sometime after the season 5 tournament though, so we'll play it by ear. Besides that, Nito, it's up to you to take over.
Okay. So yeah, we're opening this up to a Q&A session now. So if anybody, literally anybody, has any questions about Map Rando, I will be more than happy to talk about and demonstrate things in the SM practice hack for you all. So yeah, we're just going to jump into this, and I'm going to talk about how to avoid taking damage from Ridley, and we'll go from there. So my common setup is to align with the right side of the platform here. I'll follow Ridley up and I'll damage him with whatever, but it kind of gets him to do one of a few different patterns. So he might do something like that where he hovers over to the right side of me. So he's going to do that again. He might just start pogoing right away, or he might do a swoop right away from left to right. So I'm just going to see if I can get one of these different patterns to happen. If I don't jump at all, he'll definitely do a pogo. Yeah, so he just starts pogoing right away. So you can either just damage him here, Or he'll do the hover over to the right. I don't hear game sound. Interesting. But that might only be an Aussie thing, where it says he hears audio. Okay, so Ridley will do one of those patterns there. From here, morphing and going underneath him is the main way to get over to the left side. We want to favor getting to the left side for pogos, because that makes it so that we have a safe spot to stand. We do not get that same safety spot to stand over here on the right side, so we want to make sure we're always on the left. Now, a common manipulation that you can do with Ridley is to do a spin jump break when he starts doing the pogos. So with that, I mean like this. Spin jump and then break your spin when you're above this door frame here on the left side. If you do that, that does an AI manipulation with Ridley to get him to turn around and start pogoing to the left.
So, quick question in chat. Does high jump change his pattern, or is it dependent on high jump, I should say?
High jump doesn't necessarily change his pattern. You can still get him to do this, but what high jump mainly enables you to do is give you more windows for avoiding attacks, as well as more windows for damage. So high jump is a very useful item for this fight, but it's not technically necessary to work with him. You just kind of have to change how you approach dealing damage to him. So I'm going to let the pogo ride out now. And we'll see if we can get to a swoop phase here. So you align on this left side, you're free to attack. You gotta watch the tail a little bit, but again, I'm doing this.
Pogo for you.
Yeah, I'm just doing this spin break above the door manip. Here, we'll get him to do something else here by just jumping here.
Maybe not. He just wants to pogo for you.
Well, uncooperative as always. That's just typical Ridley. Okay, so now he's doing a... Okay, I thought he was doing a swoop. Holy Ridley, please.
Ridley, please. Lunge at us, please.
I never get to know.
Okay, so if you want infinite pogos, you just do this, I guess. Oh, we might have to deal some damage, that's true. So, here, we'll start getting some damage in there.
And if you want to get a copy of the practice hack, well, first off, you need a legitimate copy of Super Metroid to rip, and then you take that ROM that you got and you use it on a website I'm going to post in chat, where that will patch the ROM to be able to give you this practice ROM, and that's how you use practice ROM.
Okay, so we finally got him in a swoop pattern. So I just made a quick save state here. So in a swoop pattern, when he's on the right, he could do it fast or slow. If he does a fast one, it's going to be much harder to react to, but if he does a slow one, then you have a couple options for avoiding this. You can either do a speedy jump over, like that, or you can climb the wall on the left side and just jump over him to avoid the damage. Optimally, you would want to get some extra damage in on him like that, and then jump over. I could get the right jump. Okay, he's just swooping high on me, so that's fine. But if you want to be very safe with it, then just climbing the wall on the left is the safest approach. And that's what I would recommend if you don't have high jump, to just climb the wall over on the left side. From there, after he does his swoop, he'll come down and try and grab you. You can do a little manip here on the right to get it so that he kind of freezes midair. And then you can start pelting him with damage there. He might go into a pogo, he might go into more sweeps. So, for the safest approach to this, I would say the wall climbs are your best bet.
A reminder from chat, there should be an RNG control to force Ridley into patterns if you're looking for certain patterns.
Right. I was trying to show what it would look like naturally through the fight. And that you can kind of induce some things to happen. If we needed to go that route, we could. But you can see that just out of a swoop, he can kind of just do anything here. But all these times that I'm shooting at him are also opportunities where you can be dealing damage.
Okay.
So you just kind of get used to seeing that swoop and then just waiting to react to what he's going to do there. If you have something like Screw Attack, then you can also Screw Attack through his body. It's a little bit riskier in that you can still make contact with his tail. His tail goes through Screw Attack. And if you're not careful, you can actually take double hits on the tail with Screw Attack on.
I've had
But-
that happen before.
Yeah. But with Screw Attack, you can more freely Screw Attack through his body to be safe. Just as long as you mind the tail. So when I'm waiting here at the bottom, I'm kind of just taking note of the amount of time. On the left side, he has a very standard amount of time that he waits for a swoop. On the right is where he gets that variability for whether he does a fast swoop or a slow swoop. You can kind of tell when he's going to do a fast swoop from the right side if he doesn't go up higher as fast as he normally would. And then you know that he's going to come down right away. But yeah, again, all these times I'm just shooting him, these are all windows of attack that you can do. Ideally, you don't get grabbed like that. So now he's swooping. Help with damage. These jumps kind of keep him in line.
Now, does he have to be on screen for you to damage him?
Yes, but it's a little misleading because of the ammo bar there at the top. Because behind that screen, he can still be visible. So shooting beams and ammo upwards could still hit him, even if it doesn't look like he's on screen. In general, when he's on the left side there, if you have a wide beam such as Wave or Spazer, when he's doing those pogos, you kind of want to jump along with him, because otherwise your beam can get blocked by his tail like this. So to avoid that, when he pogos up, you pogo with him to avoid his tail from getting in the way. when he's on the second half of his health bar like that, right now he's like right before the threshold where he enters his quote-unquote enraged phase. But when he's enraged, you can kind of time the shots so that you don't have to jump along with him anymore.
And that's just because he's moving faster, right?
Yeah, the faster rate of movement makes it so that it's more in line with like your charge beam. That was a wild tail.
Yeah, we recommend everyone in the Mentor Tournament to download the practice hack and just learn how the button combos work first off for saving your game so that you can fight Ridley over and over again and then, or do any trick over and over again and then just do that trick until you get really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
That's what I did with Zeb skips and mock balls.
Oops. But yeah, that's kind of the essentials of the Ridley fight, is seeing these swoop patterns and getting a feel for the timing of jumping over the swoop or climbing up the wall to avoid the swoop. And then knowing that for the pogos, rolling underneath is the ideal strat for avoiding damage, and then doing that spin jump break to get him to switch which side he's pogoing on. Just to give an example of what that looks like again. So spin jump, break, and it'll turn around. You just have to make sure you're above like the top of the door frame here when you do that spin jump break. And then it'll manip his AI to flip the pogo. And from here you're safe to deal damage. Yeah, Ridley on the right is a lot more dangerous than Ridley on the left.
So any questions in chat specifically about the last seed or just Super Metroid in general that maybe we could show off?
Yeah, any questions at all, but let's try and not ask for insane tech, because that's not...
anything that is harder than hard is not going to be shown.
Yeah, that's not going to be useful for any of the mentees or other racers here.
Right.
I see a question from my chat on my stream on how to mock ball. That seems like a good one.
So,
we can go over that.
You go set it up. I will quickly talk about it. So mock ball, the way it works is you're keeping your speed and you're jumping into a mock ball to do it. The way I've been taught to do it is if you've ever played Street Fighter and you know how to do a Hadouken, that's really the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description of it. So I'll show it here just in the landing site, and then I'll show like a sample use case of it. So normally when you are morphed, you can only morph at what is essentially your walk speed. But there is a way with mock ball to be able to maintain your dash speed while you are mocked, or while you're morphed. And the way you do that is, if you can see my controls here at the top, you're going to want to do what's commonly known as this Hadouken input with Street Fighter, where it's a down, and it's like down, forward, forward. So that would be like a fireball input on that game. So what you're going to do is run forward with dash, and then do that input, And now you're maintaining your dash speed while in morph ball form. And this is very advantageous for making it through certain areas where you need that dash speed, but you're too tall to make it through. So, like, the most well-known area that comes in is with getting early supers in Brinstar in the vanilla speedrun. So what players will do is they'll jump through this door, and they'll do the mock ball input so that they can fit under the gates here before they close. Because if they just tried to come in here and run through, they're too tall for the gate and they get blocked. So you come in here, you do your Hadouken input, and that lets you scroll underneath the gates here.
So, lining up a couple of tricks for you, Nito. The first one is lining up the snail clip in Aqueduct. I know that there are 3 spots you can do it. Do you want to show all 3?
Sure. Okay, so let's go to Aqueduct. Now, you can only snail clip when you have gravity on. There is a hard logic version of this and a very hard logic version of this. So the hard logic version involves X-ray. You want the snail to be right about here, I think. This should work. You want to be able to unmorph on the snail in this crouch position. From here, you select X-ray, you activate it, and then you want to do a turnaround, and in the middle of that turnaround, you let go of X-ray. This forces Samus to stand up inside of the ceiling here, and from here, you just jump 3 times, and you're all the way at the top. So just to show that again. Can you do it without morph? You technically can do it without morph, but it's not with the X-ray version, though. If you're doing it without morph, it has to be with the very hard version.
Yeah, and the hard version lets you do this without X-ray, if I recall correctly.
Yes, so for the very hard version, you kind of want the snail to be not right there, but maybe like right about there. Nope, I let him get too low. Right about there. Nope.
I think I let him get too low again. And yeah, just to help with chat, this right position that Nito's using currently is only the first of 3 positions. The other 2 positions are a little more well-known, but it takes longer to get there.
So it's kind of in line with the middle of the 2 dots here. Like that. So in between the top row of 3 dots there and the solid line in between them. So right about here. It doesn't look like Samus is clipping through. Oop. Keep messing that up. It doesn't look like Samus is clipping through there, but it is the perfect height for Samus to just pixel clip through. So I'm familiar with the X-ray height and then this height, but I'm not sure about what other height you're talking about, Sinead.
So inside the actual speed tunnel, you can move the snail over there. Take a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. So yeah, just like a different physical location.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can also do that here because the pipes are set up in the exact same way.
Mhm.
But essentially, you're kind of looking for the snail being below these 3 dots here, but above this solid line. That was too high. But yeah, you can do that clip on this wall, you can do it on this wall or this wall.
Yep, it's the same height in all 3 locations.
And if you, for whatever reason, press forward while you're inside of it, you will get stuck. So you want to make sure that you are not pressing any direction whatsoever when I actually get this clip set up again.
So the next question, or the next trick, I will say that we did cover a little bit in the last tutorial Thursday, but I wouldn't mind going over it again, which is doing short charges and where that would be useful.
Right. So short charges, a different amount of length is in logic for each difficulty. So let's go back to the ship here. Let's talk about what short charges are specifically, and then we can talk about some other use cases. So short charging is the ability to get a shine charge earlier than you would if you just held forward and dash. So that is like the longest amount of distance required to get a blue suit. But we can get that in a much shorter distance. So the way that happens is by only holding dash at the moment that the game is checking that we're holding dash. So what I mean by that is, the game isn't checking that we've been holding dash for a certain amount of time. It's checking at a certain position in Samus's run animation that we're holding dash. So if I switch the info HUD here to something called the dash counter, I'm just going to hold dash here and move forward, and you're going to see a number tick up from 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Once you get to 4, that's when blue activates and you're able to run through blocks and stuff like that. But if I only hit dash at the moment in Samus's run animation when the game is checking, then we can get blue much, much faster. And there are tools in the practice hack that show you when you need to be pressing to increment that dash counter. If we turn on something called Magic Pants, this will make Samus's sprite flash whenever you're supposed to be hitting the dash button to generate a dash counter. So the rate that you need to be hitting dash, like you need to tap a little bit faster for each tap that you get, because now Samus is running just a little bit faster, so her animation happens a little bit faster, and it'll sound something like da 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 when you're trying to go for like a 4 tap. But if you're just looking for like a little bit, then a 1 tap works, where you don't hold dash right away when you start running, but you just hold dash when that first tap would happen. So you can see that if I start from here, I'm getting my shine charge kind of on this patch of grass. But if I do my first tap where I don't hold dash the whole time, look how much distance I'm saving here to getting this short charge. So the first one was happening on that patch of grass. Now I'm all the way on this patch of grass. That's saving like, I don't know, 6, 7 tiles right there. I did just use the funny numbers, haha. but it's saving a huge amount of distance. You do get some diminishing returns on that. So a 2-tap gets me to this patch of grass now. A 3-tap gets me to about here. That was 3-tap still. And a 4-tap just a little bit before where that 3-tap spot was. Now, in terms of medium difficulty, I want to say that it's only looking for like at most a 1-tap for shine charges. So if you can't do it within a 1-tap, then it's probably not a short charge that's in logic. I may need to be corrected on that though. So something like that would be what I think is in logic for medium difficulty.
So Poogle's asking about the Main Street short charge.
Main Street. Okay, so if we head on over there... I need to give myself some PBs here. I can talk about stutters in a little bit as well, because stutters are another thing that you can do to shorten the distance even more, but I just wanted to cover more about what a short charge essentially was. So if you have in medium, it's not in logic to carry a short charge from a dry room to a wet room. And this is something that actually came up in AC that Poogle did recently. But if you have gravity and you're just in this room, then I believe a 1-tap is enough from here to get the Shine Spark. Yeah.
And Nito, specifically spin jumping here lets you do the Shine Spark in the middle of the jump. If he was not spin jumping there, then he would have to hit the ground before being able to Shine Spark up.
Correct. So you can Shine Spark midair as long as you're not in a falling state is like the technical stuff behind the scenes there. So if I just fall from here, I cannot activate my Shine Spark. But if I spin jump from here, now I can. And the way I'm activating is by pressing up to break spin. So yeah, if you're in this situation, so like the situation that Google ran into the other day was that she couldn't get up to the ledge up there, but the room connected to this one was a dry room that gave enough runway here. So I believe it was Criteria Key Hunters. So if we set the left door to, I think this is West Meridia, Main Street lower, and the right door was Criteria Key Hunters. So this is a situation that we saw the other day. So it's not in logic to carry any part of this short charge into the other room. And I think for this you don't even really need a short charge, but essentially you can get this charge in room here, carry it into the other room, and then Shine Spark all the way up for the item. So that was the logic for the medium seed. A hard seed might have you do some amount of running into the water room. For example, if this was... Actually, if I just get rid of the room portal here. I'll just give myself everything. It may be a logical thing to... If this was a dry room, you may have to do part of your charge here in a hard seed and carry it into a water room. Yeah, this was actually a bad example. If I have this room, or if I have like a dry room connected to this one, this makes more sense. So let's do like Main Street middle, and then Grapple Tutorial 1. Okay, so if I take off gravity for this part, it can be in logic on hard to do part of your shine charge in this room and then carry it into the next one. So here I'm gonna do, let me just make sure it's, yeah, it's on the dash counter. So I'm gonna do 2 taps in here and then carry it into the next one. So that could be a thing that shows up in a hard seed. You do your taps before you get into the room, then you just hold dash the rest of the way, and that's enough for a shine charge. Once you get into very hard, it starts doing things like stutter water shine charges. I don't really want to cover that here because I think that's too advanced of a topic, but these are the kinds of shine spark setups that you might see in hard difficulty seeds, and then the one that I showed before with Criteria Key Hunter connected, where you can get your whole shine charge in the dry room. That would be an example of what you would see in a medium seed. Okay, did we have anything else to cover on like short charges? I don't really think so, unless there were any specific questions that came up.
I think someone had asked about stutter, and you said that you might be able to show stutter.
Right, so a stutter, let's go back to the ship here. So a stutter is simply a way to get Samus's run animation to get to the point where you input your first tap in a shorter amount of distance. So normally if I just hold forward, my first tap is happening just before this grass patch here. So right about there. A stutter is where you hold forward for a little bit and then you let go, but not too long to the point where it interrupts Samus's run animation. So a stutter, I'm just going to do a stutter over and over here. It looks something like this, where you can see Samus's full run animation, but you're kind of stuttering forward here. So this only helps before your first tap, but you can do a stutter to make it so that your first tap can happen over a shorter distance. So with a stutter, I can get the first tap to happen like halfway to the grass patch here. And then that can make it so that your short charge is even shorter. You can do multiple stutters before your first tap. You just can't do any stutters after your first tap. So I am kind of notorious for being able to do 4 stutters before my first tap. And then that cuts like a huge amount of distance off, but a single stutter is still extremely useful for cutting the amount of initial distance to your first tap. Yeah, stutter is like a hiccup in your forward press. That's kind of an accurate way of putting it. So there's so much tech with shine charges and stutters and short charges and taps that it could almost get its own tutorial on being able to do all that. I would hope that this is at least a good intro into what it takes to get a short charge, and it's something that can continuously be improved over and over again to get even shorter short charges.
Right. And we don't have enough time to go over every iteration right now. So be sure to go onto YouTube, look up different runners like Eddie or Oats and Goats or even Nito, see if they have tutorials on their YouTube channels for this kind of stuff.
I do not, but maybe sometime soon.
Putting ideas in your head.
Yeah.
Any questions in Nito's chat, which Nito's looking at, or the Speed Gaming chat, which I'm looking at, for new tech to look at? Or even like medium versus hard things that you may need to think about running through these seeds?
My chat may not be the best place to look because they're telling me to do Taco Tank and and Rio Ice Clip and Big Pink, which are very insane tricks that are not going to be helpful to anyone.
Right. Mid-air horizontal spark.
Mid-air horizontal spark. Okay. So, yeah, the inputs for doing a mid-air spark seem kind of weird. But essentially, you have to do that spin jump that we were talking about before once you get your shine charge. Then you want to press up and then forward and jump, all in kind of quick succession. So to show what that kind of looks like, get your shine charge, spin jump, up, forward, jump, and that initiates the horizontal spark. When you press up, you kind of enter this wind-up animation for the shine spark. You can kind of see Samus do this like little shift in the air where she's completely floating there. And it's from there that you can actually decide to not push anything and you just do a vertical spark. You can initiate it faster by holding up and jump after you start it. You can do an angle spark by getting to the wind up and hopefully not holding up at the same time.
Just use your right bumper or your left bumper, right bumper.
Yeah, I was trying to show it with the wind up animation as well, but you can shortcut the diagonal one by just hitting angle up in the air.
Yeah, for me, whenever I see Samus jump up out of a spin and she breaks spin and she kicks her legs, that tells me that that's where I put my inputs in, is when she's kicking her legs in midair.
Yeah. So that wind-up animation lets you kind of set up for the vertical, the diagonal, or the horizontal spark, whichever one you want to do. And yes, you can shortcut the diagonal spark by just hitting angle up to break your spin. But for the other ones, I think it's helpful to see that wind-up animation and then do the inputs for it.
We had a question earlier. This is kind of... There are going to be map layouts where this could happen. You fight Mother Brain, or you get to the fight of Mother Brain. All the objectives are down. You break her glass, and then for whatever reason, you go to the other side of Mother Brain to fight her.
Okay. So let's go to Turian. Okay, so yeah, there are situations where you need to break the glass. It's very limited situations, but it could be something like you only have enough to break the glass but not really start the fight, or you need to go refill or something, and the refill just happens to be closer to Mother Brain's left door entrance rather than the right side, or you're working with a very specific amount of ammo, something like 30 missiles, 30 supers, where that is like the perfect amount of ammo to start the fight when the tank is already broken, and then be able to kill Mother Brain 2, something like that. So under this scenario, let me give myself a little extra ammo so we can get there. So under this scenario, we go in and we will just destroy the Zebs. Let's say we didn't have charge or anything, so we might run into a situation where it's just going to be better for us to break the tank here, but not start the fight because we know we don't have enough to finish. And then we leave. Now I'm going to use the magic of changing the room layout here to make it so that this door will lead to the other side of Mother Brain. So left door connects to Torian Eye door. Right door will connect to Mother Brain. So in this situation, just assume that we've destroyed the tank, we did the loop around to the other side, and now we're on this side. So it's possible to just start the Mother Brain fight from this side when the tank is already destroyed. In the practice hack, it's the normal amount of damage from supers to Mother Brain, but you can get the fight started here and then just pop out of the wall once that closes up, and then you can start the fight normally. So yeah, you would only do that in situations where the refill, like you needed to break the tank and the refill was ideally on the other side, or you're working with that very specific amount of ammo with no charge where you want to destroy the tank, go refill, and then you have to come back and it's just more convenient to be on the left side. There's not a lot of situations that you're doing this on, but this is a possibility that can come up that can save you a little time with having to run back over the right side, avoid all the rinkas and the turret shots again, and you can just get the fight started a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. Relic wants to know about doing the waterway spark without gravity.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's go to Big Pink.
All right, I actually have to get out of here, but I appreciate all the help and all the support and all that.
For sure.
Yeah, you're welcome to leave whenever. Have a good day.
You guys as well.
Okay, so waterway, bottom of Big Pink. And no gravity. So yeah, this setup can be a little tricky. You run all the way over here, and obviously these are speed booster blocks, so you need to get a shine charge, but if you don't have some runway over on the right side to carry a spark over, then what you can do is wall jump up here, and you have enough runway up here to do... I don't think you even need to short charge this. I think that's technically just barely long enough to do a short charge right off the edge. But you can obviously give yourself some leeway with like a stutter or a one tap or something, so that you can get that a lot more comfortably. Now, I don't know what it is about water, but something about it makes it so that shine sparking doesn't activate the same way that it does in a dry room. So to counteract that, what I like to do is a little spin jump before the speed booster blocks to get the same setup as it would with a dry room. So something like this. You press up, and then you do your horizontal midair spark to destroy the blocks. I did not make a save state. That was very smart of me. So I'll go back there and show it again. But essentially, that's what I like to do, is just like a little one tap on top of the platform up there, and then jump down, do a little spin jump in the water, and do a midair horizontal spark. And I find that to be very consistent.
All right, so the next question, and I think this is going to be something that both you and I can talk about, is what kind, was kind of wondering if there's amount of missile, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Wondering how you process a new zone when you think about going straight for the map versus blinding versus just turning around to your last zone. And are there different stages of doing either of these or any of these in the rando? For me personally, it depends on how far away the map is in my new zone. If it's like across and like a way away from where I am, and I know that there might be another connector nearby in the last zone, I go to the other connector. It also kind of depends on like where on the map and depth I am. So like if I'm in Norfair, I kind of know that's the last zone to the bottom of the map. So I will typically, if I go to Norfair and I see the map is way across the way, I know that this is a dead-end zone. I might think about going to the map first, depending on, again, where it is. You might have to blind anyways to get to it. It might depend on how many bosses you have down, or what boss you're looking for. So, like, if you're looking for Fantoon, and you know that Fantoon is in Norfair, for example, then going to the map is, like, a no-brainer. Nito, how about you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different philosophies with that. Generally, like, when we first start the rando and we have basically nothing, I'm usually of the mindset of, unless that map is, like, only 2 rooms away, I'm considering that I just don't have the equipment to make it through, whether it, like, requires going through a morph tunnel, or I don't have a morph ball yet, or it's through, like, a locked door and I don't have the ammo or something like that. I'm just fine with blinding initially to pick up like the initial items, and then I'll feel more confident going towards the map. But as the seed goes on, the more items that I get, the more comfortable I feel with just saying, okay, I think I can go directly for this map and I'm not going to run into many obstructions. It kind of depends on suits, it depends on how much water movement you have, how much energy you have for heated runs. And it's entirely just a sort of like, you get a feel for it after playing a bunch of randos. Especially when we're just looking to hunt down objectives. That is, like, if we're in go mode, then we're probably just gunning it for the map, essentially. Picking up a save station along the way is super helpful in case the map is far away and you want a spot to revert to when you get the map and you see, oh, the boss that I was looking for was way back where I started in the zone. Then you have a quick revert to go back to hopefully give you a shorter distance to run back. But my philosophy for it is early on, just rely on the items that I see, determining what the logic is for me, and then eventually I get a map. And then for each progressive zone after that, I will think more about how far away the map is in relation to where I entered the zone, and with the equipment that I have, how confident do I feel to be able to go for it immediately, or do I feel like I need to do some blinding? There's no absolute correct answer on that. You just kind of have to develop a feel after playing a bunch of randos to determine what you think the likelihood is of you being able to get to a map, or whether you have to blind. And then in terms of like go mode, the line for go mode has changed a lot for me over time, where like I feel like, okay, I need this much ammo and I need all the beams and I need both suits, in order to feel like I'm confident here. And now it's at the point where it's like, yeah, I can do this suitless with bare minimum 6 tanks and, you know, charge ice spazer with only 10 supers or whatever. Like that's all dependent on your experience level and how comfortable you are at doing all the boss fights and stuff. So your level of go mode will shift over time depending on how much more comfortable you get, and how really it comes down to how well practiced you are with bosses and doing heated runs and doing tech to bypass water rooms and things like that. But I would say for medium to hard seeds, it's not uncommon for you to get, you know, some extra E-tanks, some extra ammo, feeling like you need just a little bit more comfort with the items to do the boss fights and traverse the rooms effectively. That's a very like non-definitive answer, but I think that it comes down to the player.
Yeah, and so just more clarification in chat, we're talking about, you know, is pivot saving better in new areas, or should be going for the map? Also, a number of paths you have left in progression change as you approach, good feel for item placement, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, pivot saves are immensely helpful, especially when you are... So let's say you're in like Greenburn main shaft, and you have this save station connected here, and now you have 4 doors and an elevator here, and if you get power bombs, you actually have 6 doors. Like, having this pivot save here so that you can check a door and be like, okay, this door doesn't look like it's going to lead to anything special. You can even like go all the way through this room and be like, oh, okay, it was just a refill, so now I can go back to the save, and it saves me the time of running through that room again, and now I can get my search going much faster. Like, having a pivot save is immensely helpful for that, to just shave off seconds or even minutes of run back time.
Mm-hmm.
I see a question from Ossian. Do you have a good feel for normal item placement? That I definitely don't have a ton of experience with. It's actually been a long time since I've played on normal item placement. If we look at the definition of what normal item placement is, it is something like once you're able to reach 50% of the map, I think 75% of the key items are available to you. I'm going to make sure I have that definition right, but yeah. Or no, it's by the time 50% of items are obtainable, at least 75% of the key items should be obtainable. So that's things like morph, bombs, suits, space jumps, screw attack, things like that. So it's a little bit harder for me to judge because I haven't played on normal item placement that much, but that does make it feel like the item placement is a lot more condensed to your starting location overall, and ultimately that should end up in a seed being generally easier to play. We're used to playing on tricky for like the hard tricky races, and that makes it so that items are spread out a lot more uniformly. But it's it's definitely a shift in like what becomes capable more early on in a seed. I haven't gotten a good sense for it yet, but it definitely makes it so that like you don't have to travel as far to get all the key items you need to complete the game.
This is something that I kind of went over in the Mentor Map Tournament Discord with Kyleb, as far as how the generation process actually works. So obviously that depends a little bit on your settings, if it's normal, if it's hard, if it's tricky, if it's all that fun stuff. But for the most part, in a very broad strokes manner, First off, there's a preset number of maps that the generation process goes through. There's something like 200,000 maps that have already been created for the generation process. They're not made as part of the generation, they are pre-made. So one gets selected, and then depending on your map layout, which could be standard, could be depth. Depth is the one that we're using for Map Rando Mentor Tournament. It actually assigns the name of the Socoteria, Norfair, Meridia. It assigns that name to each area of the map. From there, it will create your very first step. So it'll start you off at a random location, which is predetermined, and then the very first step is created. That first step could be your morph ball. It also could be missiles or super missiles or power bombs to get to morph ball, or it could be another major that gets you into morph ball. But really what you're looking for in those first steps is morph ball. So you have to think about, okay, I just got this item in my first step, and that is going to unlock my next major item in the next step. And you have to be able to get to that first major item to and from with the items that you have on you. It doesn't matter if you've collected the item, it's not going to expect that you've gotten that new item and are now able to return with that item in a harder sense, if that makes any sense. So like, it's not going to expect you to go through like 3 hot rooms to get Varia, for example. And then the same goes for step 2. Step 2 would be your next major item gets unlocked by the first major item. And so you're really looking for what path in this map rando can I take to use that first item I just got.
Yeah, in a sense, that I think that might be a more accurate description of what challenge item progression is more like, or either technical or challenge, in that like the progression is locked behind each individual item that you're picking up, and it tries to force a very linear progression, whereas I think on normal and tricky there are more routes available to collecting the majors and key items. Like there are more items available on each step in general than there would be on something like a challenge seed. So when it's placing those items, it is checking to see what new sections of the map have opened up now that you've obtained that, and it's looking to see that you can reach another key item that will eventually open up more progress throughout the map. The more restrictive item progression settings like technical, challenge, and desolate, they are making it so that you have to collect that one item in the step to get to the next one logically, essentially. But normal, it's quite a bit more open. Tricky is sort of an in-between of that normal and more technical challenge type progression, where it's still uniform, but there's still like more routes available technically open to you. It might place more key items on the same step that are available. But yeah, that's generally the way that Sinead described it. That's generally how item progression works.
Mm-hmm. We have about 15 minutes if I'm looking at the clock correctly.
The croc?
I can definitely be correct. Let's go look at croc. But if we have about 15 minutes left if I'm looking at the clock correctly. So if there's any other questions, Aussie can definitely correct me if I'm wrong as far as how much time we have left. But yeah, we're nearing the end of the stream here.
Yeah, I think we were on a 3-hour time block with this, so about 15 minutes left. Speaking of croc, though, we could go over that a little bit, because I think that was something that Josh was struggling with a little bit in the seed.
Mm-hmm. That's a good shout. Chat, you get bonus croc.
Bonus croc. So yeah, what we were talking about before with what put Croc in logic on medium was that you either needed 50 missiles or 16 supers, and you don't mix ammo between the two, so you either meet one of those requirements for putting it into logic. We I'll show an ammo kill and then I'll show a charge kill, just to show what that would be like. So the way Croc works is that Croc doesn't actually have like an HP amount or anything. Each missile pushes him back 1 step, each charge shot pushes him back 2 steps, and each super missile pushes him back 3 steps. And he has, I believe, a 50-50 chance of either doing this attack where he shoots out these energy projectiles, or where he attempts to charge at you. So you can interrupt his energy attacks with shooting a missile in his mouth, like this. And when he does the charge, he opens his mouth immediately, so you can shoot a missile that way. A super, like I said, backs him up 3. His mouth hitbox is very interesting.
Yeah, so it's a lot about timing the shot into his mouth, because if you let too much time pass by when he starts charging, he's going to charge forward more steps than you've backed him up.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just kind of showed a combination of all of that. The farming step is... It's helpful to know a good spot to stand for being able to farm that effectively. I see a lot of people, when they're fighting Croc, they stand up real close to him to shoot the energy projectiles. But I find it much more effective to actually back up a little bit, because it gets his claw out of the way. So I'll show an example of what that looks like here. So let's try and get him to do a farm step here. Okay, so I back up to about here to do it. And that just makes it so that I'm not dealing with his claw anymore, because his claw can intercept shots. Come on, Croc. Come on. You can do it. You can farm. I believe in you. There you go. So yeah, I back up to about here. And it's just a mix of shooting up, shooting forward, or wherever he's shooting the projectiles. He goes forward, angle down, angle up. Forward, angle down, angle up. Forward, angle down. And then that last one just goes into Narnia. I don't know what he's aiming at when he shoots it all the way up there. But this is an easy and safe way to farm if you need bonus missiles for the fight. He does have a chance to drop supers, it's much rarer. And whatever you do, do not powerbomb him. Powerbombing him just does a charge where he doesn't open his mouth at all. And also fun grapple shenanigans.
This doesn't damage Croc, it's just shenanigans.
Yeah. Literally does nothing to him. You can do something funny like have him push you through the spike wall in the back there with grapple, but I would not recommend doing that. So, hopefully that's a little bit more helpful information. Again, one missile backs him up 1, charge shot backs him up 2, super backs him up 3. Oh, right. Actually, plasma is a shortcut in that if you shoot him with a charged plasma shot, he gets hit like 20 times, and that backs him up all the way to the acid. So if you have charged plasma, doesn't matter any other beams or anything, charged plasma kills him in 1 hit.
Does that depend on where he is on the platform? So, like, let's say he has you backed up completely to the wall in the spikes, can you still kill him with charged plasma?
You know, I haven't let him back up all the way there to try that. I would assume it gets him at the very least most of the way to the acid, and then you would just need one more charged plasma shot.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a limit to how much damage charged plasma does during that croc damage thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hitting him once every frame that it passes through, and Croc doesn't have iframe, so you don't need X-ray for like a microwave shot. So it just it hits him on every single frame. I think that's everything about Croc. Croc is a common one-way barrier, so if you were to enter this room before killing Croc from this door, oftentimes you would have to find another way around. So he kind of creates one-way loops technically. Like, you may have to go through Spore Spawn at the top to get around to come back over the top of him and come through this door to fight him to complete the loop, something like that.
A good question in chat is your suit E-Tank combination in order to get across the lava to get to the item behind Croc.
Okay, so with Varia, okay, let's start with like suitless. I think that, like, if we're just talking about the realm of possibility for getting the item, I think one tank suitless is enough. So you get here with 112, and then... No, actually, that's not quite.
You're gonna need 2.
Yeah, 2.
Even 2 is cutting it, like he just showed,
very,
very
close. Yeah, very, very close, but technically doable in 2 suitless. If you have a suit, I think you can do this with 1 tank for sure. So Varia suit would probably be 1 suit and a tank. Yeah, very comfortably 1 suit. I think if you have gravity, you can probably do this with just gravity and 0 suits, honestly. Because then you're not dealing with the slowdown of the acid. So you get there. Yeah, very, very comfortably can do that with just gravity and no tanks.
Yeah, so that's absolute minimum. So we don't need to talk about anything more than that. You could also charge a Shine Spark to fly over there, space jump over there, grapple jump over there. I mean, if you really wanted to learn how to do it, horizontal bomb jump over there.
Ew, please no. Please don't do that.
I think that's going to be about it, though, unless there's any very last-minute questions. We got 5 minutes left.
Not seeing any immediate questions. Asi mentioned spin breaking. We're getting over there. So spin break can make it so that you touch the ground sooner. Okay, so that becomes a lot more comfortable on 2 tanks when you actually do spin breaking. Yeah, much more comfortable. So 2 tanks is a bare minimum for that with nothing. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other immediate questions.
All right, so yeah, chat, this has been the Super Metroid Map Randomizer Tournament, Mentor Tournament. We're going to get started here sometime at the beginning of June. We do need to do the rest of the bracket sorting for the pools. So be sure to look forward to that on Speed Gaming channels. Look at the Speed Gaming schedule. You can also join our Discord if you want to stay up to date to the round robin pools and the brackets that are coming up. And we'll obviously be doing more mentor tournament stuff after this first tournament. Obviously working with feedback to make the tournament better, working maybe on harder difficulties for people that want to get more of a challenge. But this very first tournament is serving as an introduction for new people who have barely played Randomizer to get into the game. Other than that, Nito, do you have any other things to say?
If anyone has any questions or ever wants to just learn more about Map Rando, they are always free to hit me up, either DM or come by to my stream and ask questions, or even when I'm just in other people's chats, just feel free to ask. I'm always happy to help anybody that's looking to learn more about this game. I'm always learning more about this game, pushing the limits whenever I play. So yeah, I'm always open to discussion and figuring things out and helping people get better at the game.
There you go. All right, chat. We will see you next mission.